Good morning. Today I will tell you about force and weight measurement. So we know that our force is denoted by capital F, which is equal to mass into acceleration. It is a vector quantity, and weight can also denote by force F or by capital W, which is equal to mg, which is my scalar quantity. So there are the methods of force measurement. So first one is beam balance method, second one is load cell method, and third one is elastic type. Load cell method is basically used in industrial applications. So first we have beam balance method. In beam balance method we have a mass over a rod which is balanced by this pointer, and we apply force over here. At balance condition, this length capital L is from this point to this point where we apply the force, and small l length is from this point to this point where we put our mass. So our in balance condition, force into capital L is equal to m mass of the element into g acceleration due to gravity into L, this small length L. So this force is calculated from here is equal to mg into L by L. In if this length small l is equal to L, our force is equal to mass into acceleration due to gravity g. For higher ranges, load cell are used and more frequently preferable. So our next term is load cell for force and weight measurement. Load cell are basically of four types. First one is hydraulic load cell, second one is pneumatic load cell. These are the cases of mechanical output. In this case we got the mechanical output. Then we have strain gauge load cell. From this we have electrical output. And fourth one is our capacitive load cell, which is also a part of electrical output, in which we get electrical output. So first one is hydraulic load cell. Based on the fluid pressure variation, it is based on the fluid pressure variation. It is based on the input pressure supplied, and in this case we use incompressible fluid oil for hydraulic load cells. In hydraulic load cell, basically the pressure variations, using pressure variations we can calculate the force. So basic part of hydraulic load cells are fluid chamber, diaphragm, and spiral Bourdon tube. As you see in this diagram, we have a fluid chamber. In this fluid is present, incompressible fluid, and we apply force over here, and here is a Bourdon tube, spiral Bourdon tube, which is connected to this. It gives me the pressure unit from this indication. So in this case our known values are pressure, which is comes from this Bourdon tube, the area of the diaphragm, this already known area of the diaphragm, and so force is calculated using this formula. Force is equal to pressure into area. So we get the our force. It is used for high ranges of forces up to 200 kilonewton is very common. We can use it for mega Newton forces also. Hydraulic type load cell. There are some advantages. It shows fast response. There are some limitations also. Safety precautions are required in hazardous and explosive area because oil is flammable, and cost is high in this case, and it affect environment also. So next is our pneumatic load cell. In this case, air pressure variations we calculate. So basic parts are air chamber, diaphragm, spiral Bourdon tube, and flapper and nozzle system. Here is the diagram. When we apply force on our diaphragm, air pressure produces, and which is calculated using Bourdon tube. In this case again, same formula, F is equal to PA, and this P is calculated from this Bourdon tube, and area of diaphragm is already known. It is based on counterbalance principle. Basically, we apply air pressure initially when there is no load condition, and in this case the Bourdon tube shows some pressure like X pressure, and when we apply force, then we get a pressure on our diaphragm, and which is calculated using Bourdon tube. There is a change in pressure of Bourdon tube, and the difference is calculated, and the difference is our final pressure, and using F is equal to PA we calculate the force. In this case, range of input is only 20 kilonewton, very low range. It is completely safe for the environment. No leakage problem, because if leakage is there, only air is diffused to our environment. Disadvantages: it is slow and low range. The next part is our electrical load cell, in which we use strain gauge and capacitive load cells. In strain gauge load cells, we have output in form of electrical quantity. So strain gauge load cells is further divided is a combination of elastic structure. Elastic structure means on which we place our strain gauge, and use this elastic structure changes its structure, and this change is detected by this strain gauge. So here are some examples. This is a cylindrical type, this is a rectangular type. In cylindrical structure, when we use cylindrical elastic structure, first pair attached along the direction of force, first pair of strain gauge is attached to the direction of force, and second pair along the circumference, and in rectangular, first pair along the x-axis and second pair along the y-axis. Using this we can calculate our final voltage. In the above method, strain gauges arrange into Poisson arrangement, means this perpendicular arrangement. First pair gives me compressive force, and second pair gives me tensile force. So arrangement is like this. So final output of these type of strain gauge is V0 is equal to E is the input applied, E is the output from the strain gauges, divided by 2 into gauge factor of the strain gauge. Epsilon is my strain, 1 plus 2 mu. Not 2 mu. So V naught is equal to E by 2 GF epsilon 1 plus mu. So from here we can conclude that our output voltage is directly proportional to our strain, and which is directly proportional to force. Advantages: preferred for dynamic load measurement where frequency changes. Range is very high. Applications: roadside weight machines, large cranes, heavy weight measurement, market weight weighting machines. Then our last part, which is elastic instruments. It is further divided into 3 parts: cantilever beam, proving ring, and springs. So first, cantilever beam. In elastic instruments, so generally we apply force, and this elastic material displaced a distance x, or there is a displacement of x, so our force is directly is equal to k into x. Here k is the sensitivity factor, so our x divided by f is equal to 1 upon k. If the structure is stiff structure, then in this case, as the sensitivity increases, as the sensitivity decreases, range increases for the stiff structure. If we use soft structure, in this case our k is less, sensitivity increases, range decreases. There is a relation between this constant, this is the elastic constant k, which is depend on the stiff structure or soft structure. The s is our sensitivity and here is the range. Then here is our cantilever beam. So for a cantilever, let after applying a force F, we have a displacement x, then our deflection x is equal to F L cube. L is the length of this cantilever beam, 3 EI. E is the Young modulus and F is the force and L is the length. Here I is the moment of inertia which depends on the cantilever. T is the thickness of cantilever and B is the breadth of cantilever. So finally our deflection is directly proportional to F, force, and X is equal to Kf. Generally in elastic cases, in all the cases, our displacement or deflection is directly proportional to F with some constant K, and this constant varies according to the shape of the structure. So in this case, when we use cantilever, our K is equal to L cube divided by 3 EI. E is the Young modulus. Our method, by conducting strain gauges, we can get electrical output. Then we have proving ring. This is the structure of proving ring. When we apply force, the circular ring like a egg shape. Okay, and here force directly proportional to our deflection, again as we already discussed. So in this case, strain gauge arrangement like this, 1 and 2 strain gauge inside which got compressive strength, and strain, and 3 and 4 outside which got tensile strain. Then our last is the spring type. Here when we apply force, there is a change of delta x deflection. Again our force is equal to k into x. K is different for different types of spring. It is depend on the material of the spring. So I'm explaining a numerical over here, this one. A load cell consists of a solid cylinder of steel with 20 mm diameter. एक cylindrical element है आपके पास जिसका 20 mm diameter है with 4 strain gauges bonded in Poisson arrangement connected to 4 arms of Wheatstone bridge with 5 volt excitation, means output is our 5 volt. The strain gauge with 150 ohm resistance and gauge factor is 2 and Young modulus is 250 giganewton per meter square. Poisson ratio is 0.3. When load of 2 kilonewton applied, find out output voltage. In this case, we have to find out the output voltage. So our output voltage is equal to E divided by 2. E is the our excitation voltage into gauge factor into strain into 1 plus mu. This is our formula we already discussed. In this case, we have E is equal to 5, gauge factor is equal to 2, and we have to calculate the strain from the Young modulus, and 1 plus mu, and mu is 0.3. So our Young modulus is stress by strain, which is equal to force per unit area upon strain. So we know that our force is 2 kilonewton and area is the effective area, which is equal to pi r square, and we have the diameter, so we put the radius 10 into 10 minus 3 whole square, and from here we got the strain and we got the final output. This is a example. Thank you. Next, load cell and some pictures of load cell. A load cell is a transducer which converts force into measurable electrical output, and we already discussed there are four types electrical load cell. In electrical load cell we have strain gauge and capacitive load cell, then mechanical load cells in which we have hydraulic and pneumatic load cell. This is the example of hydraulic load cell. As we apply force, this incompressible liquid produces a force in spiral Bourdon tube, and we calculate pressure from this. Here are some real life examples of hydraulic load cell. These are the example of hydraulic load cell. Then we have pneumatic load cell. Here we balance the air supply, a constant air supply, and when we apply the pressure, and according to this deflection, this Bourdon tube got the pressure change, and we calculate the pressure, and from F is equal to P into A we calculate the final force. These are the example of pneumatic type Bourdon tube. Here are some more examples. Then we have strain gauge type load cell. Here is the accuracy and sensitivity factor for different types of Bourdon tube. Hydraulic load cell has less accuracy and sensitivity, pneumatic have more sensitivity, and out of these capacitive load cell has highest accuracy and sensitivity.